Jake Morrison opened his eyes slowly. Everything felt cold and strange. His body was stiff like he had been sleeping for a very long time. White lights shone down on him from above. He tried to move, but his arms felt heavy. "Easy there, Captain," a woman's voice said. "Don't try to sit up too fast." Jake turned his head to see a woman in a white coat standing next to him. She had short black hair and kind eyes. Her name tag said Dr. Lisa Park. She was holding a small device that beeped softly. "Where am I?" Jake asked. His voice sounded rough and dry. "You're on the ship New Liberty," Dr. Park said. "You've been in cryosleep for emergency medical reasons." Jake tried to remember what happened. The last thing he could recall was the attack on the colonies. Earth's outer worlds were burning. Alien ships filled the sky like angry hornets. People were screaming and running. Then nothing. "How long was I out?" he asked. Dr. Park looked at her device again. She seemed nervous. "Captain, you've been asleep for 5 years. 5 years. Jake sat up quickly. His head spun and he felt sick. "That's impossible." The colonies were under attack. We were losing the war. "What happened to Earth?" "A lot has changed," Dr. Park said softly. "Commander Bell wants to see you as soon as you're ready. He'll explain everything." Jake looked around the medical bay. It was bigger and nicer than he remembered. The walls were made of some kind of metal he didn't recognize. Strange blue lights ran along the ceiling. Even the air smelled different. "Doctor, what happened to me? Why can't I remember anything after the colony attack?" Dr. Park checked her readings again. "Your brain scans show some unusual patterns. There are gaps in your memory from the past 5 years. We're not sure why yet." Jake swung his legs over the side of the bed. He felt weak, but he needed answers. "I want to see Commander Bell now. Are you sure you're ready? You just woke up from a very long sleep." "I'm fine," Jake said, though he wasn't sure that was true. Everything felt wrong somehow, like he was missing important pieces of a puzzle. Dr. Park helped him stand. His legs shook a little but held his weight. She gave him a clean uniform that felt too new. As he got dressed, he noticed his reflection in a mirror. He looked older. Lines around his eyes that weren't there before. His hair had more gray in it. They walked through the ship's corridors together. Jake was amazed by what he saw. The New Liberty was twice as big as he remembered. The walls were covered with technology he had never seen before. Crew members walked past wearing uniforms that looked more advanced. Some of them stared at him with strange expressions, like they knew something he didn't. "Captain Morrison," a young woman said as they passed. "It's good to see you awake, sir." Jake nodded but didn't recognize her. How many people had he forgotten? They reached the bridge. Commander Ryan Bell was standing at the main screen looking at star charts. He was a tall man with brown hair and a serious face. When he saw Jake, he smiled. "Jake, welcome back to the land of the living," Ryan said, shaking his hand. "How do you feel?" "Confused," Jake said honestly. "What happened out there? Did we lose the war?" Ryan's smile got bigger. "Lose?" "Jake, we didn't just win. We became legends. What do you mean?" Ryan touched a button and the main screen changed. It showed a map of the galaxy. Hundreds of star systems were marked with human flags, more than Jake had ever seen before. "Humanity didn't just survive the alien invasion," Ryan said. "We fought back so hard that other species started joining our side. We've liberated dozens of worlds. The aliens who attacked us are now our allies." Jake stared at the screen. It didn't make sense. How is that possible? We were outnumbered. Our technology was inferior. "That's what everyone thought," Ryan said. "But humans turned out to be different. We don't fight like other species. We're unpredictable, creative. We never give up even when we should." "I don't understand," Ryan pointed to a red mark on the star map. 5 years ago, something happened at the Turner Protocol incident. You were there, Jake. You led a mission that changed everything. After that, the galaxy saw what humans could really do." "I don't remember any Turner Protocol," Jake said, feeling frustrated. "We know. Your memories of that time are gone. Dr. Park thinks it might be from the head injury you got during the mission." Jake touched his head. He didn't remember being hurt. "What exactly did I do?" Ryan looked uncomfortable. "You saved 200,000 civilian refugees with just 12 soldiers. The tactics you used were impossible. No one could figure out how you did it. Word spread across the galaxy that humans could win any battle no matter the odds. That sounds crazy. Maybe. But other species started asking for our help. They wanted human leaders for their armies. Human advisors for their governments. Some aliens even worship humans now. Jake felt overwhelmed. This is too much. I need to understand what happened to me. There's something else, Ryan said quietly. During your missing years, you had several secret meetings. We found records of you talking to someone off the ship. But we don't know who it was. What kind of meetings? The security files are encrypted. Even I can't open them. You made sure of that before you went into cryosleep. Jake rubbed his forehead. So I've been keeping secrets from myself? It looks that way. The question is why? What were you trying to hide? Before Jake could answer, an alarm started beeping. A young officer at the communication station looked up with wide eyes. Commander, we're getting a priority message from Haven's Rest Station. They say someone is asking for Captain Morrison specifically. Who is it? Ryan asked. They won't say, sir. Just that it's urgent and personal. Jake felt a strange chill run down his spine. Someone was looking for him. Someone who knew he was awake. But he couldn't remember who it might be. Set course for Haven's Rest, Ryan ordered. Jake, it looks like your past is catching up with you. As the ship changed direction, Jake stared out at the stars. Somewhere out there was someone who knew what he had forgotten. Someone who might have answers about the 5 lost years of his life. He just hoped he was ready for what he might learn. The space station Haven's Rest looked like a giant metal flower floating in the darkness. Ships from many different worlds were docked to its long arms. Jake had never seen so many alien species in one place before. Stay close, Commander Bell said as they walked through the docking bay. This place can be dangerous. Jake nodded, but his mind was elsewhere. He kept thinking about the mysterious message. Someone here knew him, but he couldn't remember who. The station's main corridor was crowded and noisy. Aliens with blue skin walked next to creatures that looked like walking trees. Some had 4 arms, others had no arms at all. The air smelled like metal and strange spices. The cantina is this way, Ryan said, pointing down a side passage. The cantina was darker than the corridor. Soft music played from hidden speakers. Jake looked around at the customers. Most were traders and travelers. A few looked like soldiers. I'll get us a table, Ryan said. You look around. Maybe you'll see someone familiar. Jake walked slowly through the cantina. Nothing seemed familiar. He was about to give up when he heard a voice behind him. She ran into my arms. I never remembered you. Jake turned around quickly. A woman was sitting alone at a small table in the corner. She wasn't human. Her skin looked like it was made of pale blue crystal. Her eyes were large and silver. She was beautiful in a strange alien way. I'm sorry, what did you say? Jake asked. The woman stood up. She was tall and moved like a dancer. You don't remember me, do you, Jake? No, I don't. Should I? The woman's silver eyes looked sad. My name is Zara 7. I've been looking for you for 3 years. Jake sat down at her table. Something about her voice made him feel calm. Looking for me? Why? Because you made me a promise. A very important promise. I don't remember making any promises. Zara 7 reached across the table and touched his hand. Her skin felt warm despite looking like crystal. I know. Your memories were taken to protect us both. Taken? By who? That's a long story. First, let me prove I knew you. Zara 7 closed her eyes. You have a scar on your left shoulder from when you fell off your bike as a child. You hate coffee, but you drink it anyway because it reminds you of your father. Your favorite color is blue because it reminds you of Earth's sky. Jake stared at her. All of those things were true. They weren't in any official records. How do you know that? Because you told me. We spent many hours talking during your missing years. Were we friends? Zara 7 smiled, but it looked sad. We were more than friends, Jake, much more. Jake felt confused. What do you mean? My people are called the Vorthak. We have abilities that humans don't have. We can share thoughts and feelings with others. You and I shared something very special. I don't understand. Look at this, Zara 7 said. She pulled out a small device and pressed a button. A hologram appeared above the table. It showed Jake and Zara 7 standing together in a laboratory. They were both wearing white coats. Jake in the hologram was smiling and holding Zara 7's hand. When was this taken? Jake asked. 4 years ago. We were working on a secret project together. What kind of project? One that could save both our species. Or destroy them. Jake leaned forward. What do you mean, destroy them? Zara 7 looked around the cantina to make sure no one was listening. The galaxy has rulers called the Hegemony. They control most of the star systems. They don't want humans and Vorthax to work together. Why not? Because together we're too powerful. Humans are creative and brave. Vorthax can see the future. Combined, we could overthrow the hegemony. And you think we were working on something like that? I know we were. The project was called Harmony. We were trying to combine human and Vorthak abilities. Jake rubbed his temples. This is crazy. If we were so close, why don't I remember you at all? Because you chose to forget. When the hegemony found out about our project, they demanded it be stopped. You volunteered to have your memories erased to protect the research and my people. That doesn't sound like something I would do. Really? You saved 200,000 people at Turner Protocol. You became a legend for protecting others. Does forgetting me to save my entire species sound so different? Jake thought about that. It did sound like something he might do, but it felt wrong somehow. There's something else, Zara 7 said. In 7 days, something called the Convergence will begin. If you don't remember our work before then, both humans and Vorthax will be in terrible danger. What's the Convergence? The hegemony's final solution. They're going to use a weapon that will destroy the mental abilities of both our species. Humans will lose their creativity. Vorthax will lose their future sight. We'll both become slaves. Jake felt a chill. How do you know this? Because some of my people still have their abilities. We've seen pieces of the future. It's not pretty. Then why come to me? I can't even remember yesterday, let alone how to stop some alien weapon. Zara 7 leaned closer. Because you're the key, Jake. The project we worked on together created something amazing. Something that could stop the Convergence. But only you know where it is. I told you I don't remember anything. Not yet. But memories can be recovered. I can help you remember. How? Vorthax can share thoughts. If you let me into your mind, I might be able to find the hidden memories. Jake felt nervous. Is it safe? I don't know. We've never tried it with someone whose memories were artificially removed. It could be dangerous for both of us. And if we don't try, then in 7 days both our species will be destroyed. Jake looked at Zara 7's silver eyes. She seemed sincere, but trusting her meant risking his mind. On the other hand, if she was telling the truth, millions of lives were at stake. If I agree to this, will I get all my memories back? I hope so. But Jake, you need to understand something. When you remember me, you'll also remember why you chose to forget. It might be painful. More painful than watching 2 species die. Maybe. The Jake I knew was willing to sacrifice anything for others. Even his own happiness. Jake thought about Commander Bell's words. Humans had become legends because they never gave up. Maybe it was time to live up to that reputation. Okay, he said finally. I'll try to remember. But not here. Too many people around. I have a ship docked on level 7. We can go there. Give me 1 hour to tell my commander where I'm going. If this goes wrong, someone should know what happened to me. Zara 7 nodded. 1 hour. Jake, yes? Whatever you remember about us, know that every moment was real, even if you forgot it. As Jake walked away from the table, he felt something strange. For just a second, the cantina felt familiar, like he had been there before with someone important, someone he cared about. Maybe Zara 7 was telling the truth. Maybe he really had loved an alien woman and forgotten her to save her people. If so, he was about to find out what kind of man he really was. Jake followed Zara 7 to her ship on level 7. It was smaller than the New Liberty, but looked very advanced. The hull was smooth and silver, like Zara 7's skin. Strange symbols were carved into the metal. Welcome to the Memory Keeper, Zara 7 said as they walked up the ramp. Inside, the ship felt warm and peaceful. The walls glowed with soft blue light. There were no sharp corners anywhere. Everything curved like flowing water. This is beautiful, Jake said. Vorthax ships are grown, not built. They're alive in a way. Jake touched the wall. It felt warm under his palm. It's alive? Not like you or me. But it has its own kind of consciousness. It responds to emotions and thoughts. They walked to the ship's main room. It was round with a large chair in the center. Strange devices hung from the ceiling on thin cables. This is where we'll try to recover your memories, Zara 7 said. Please sit down. Jake sat in the chair. It adjusted itself to fit his body perfectly. What happens now? I'm going to touch your mind with mine. It might feel strange at first. Try to relax. Zara 7 placed her hands on either side of Jake's head. Her crystal skin felt warm. She closed her silver eyes and took a deep breath. Think about the last thing you remember clearly, she said softly. Jake thought about the colony attack, the burning ships, the screaming civilians. Then everything went white. Suddenly, Jake was standing in a laboratory. It looked real, but he knew it was a memory. A younger version of himself was working at a computer. Across the room, a younger Zara 7 was studying something under a microscope. "Jake, look at this," Memory Zara 7 said. "The neural pathways are connecting faster than we predicted." Memory Jake walked over to her. "Show me." The memory faded. Jake found himself back in the ship, breathing hard. "What did you see?" Zara 7 asked. "A lab. We were working together." "What were we studying?" "Brain connections between humans and Vorthax." "Keep trying. Go deeper." Jake closed his eyes again. This time he saw himself and Zara 7 sitting together in a garden. They were holding hands and talking quietly. "The hegemony will never allow this project to continue," Memory Zara 7 was saying. "If they find out what we've discovered, they'll destroy us both." "Then we won't let them find out," Memory Jake said. "We'll hide the research." "Where?" "They have spies everywhere. In the one place they'll never look." "My own mind." The memory shifted. Jake saw himself lying in a medical chair while Zara 7 worked at a control panel. "Are you sure about this?" Memory Zara 7 asked. "Once I hide the memories, I don't know if we can get them back." "We have to try," Memory Jake said. "If the hegemony gets this technology, they'll use it to control everyone. Better that it's lost than misused. What about us? What about what we have together?" Memory Jake reached for her hand. "If forgetting you saves your people, then it's worth it." Jake opened his eyes in the real world. Tears were running down his face. "I remember," he said quietly. "We were in love." Zara 7 nodded, her own eyes wet with tears. "Yes, but that's not all. Keep going. Remember the project." Jake went back into his memories. This time he saw the truth about Project Harmony. They had found a way to link human and Vorthak minds temporarily. Humans gained the ability to see possible futures. Vorthax gained human creativity and emotion. The test subjects became incredible soldiers and leaders. They could predict enemy moves and think of solutions that no one else could imagine. It was the perfect combination of both species' strengths. "The Turner Protocol," Jake whispered. "I used the enhanced abilities to save those people." "Yes, you and 11 other enhanced soldiers held off an entire fleet." The galaxy had never seen anything like it. Jake saw more memories. Secret meetings with Vorthak leaders, plans to share the technology with other oppressed species. The beginning of a revolution that could free the galaxy from hegemony control. Then he saw the hegemony's response. They demanded the project be stopped immediately. When Jake and Zara 7 refused, the hegemony threatened to destroy the Vorthak homeworld. "So I chose to forget," Jake said, "to protect your people, and to hide the location of the research data. The hegemony tortured several Vorthaks trying to find it, but we never knew where you hid it. I do now." Jake stood up quickly. "It's on Kepler 442b. There's an abandoned research station there. Are you sure?" "Yes, I can see it clearly now. We need to get there before the hegemony does." Zara 7 started preparing her ship for departure. "Jake, there's something else you need to know. Recovering your memories has risks. The neural pathways in your brain have been altered. Using the enhanced abilities again could damage your mind permanently." "What do you mean?" "When you link with me again like we did during the project, it might burn out your brain. You could die," Jake thought about that. "And if I don't use the abilities?" "The hegemony will complete the convergence. Both our species will become slaves forever." "Then I guess we don't have a choice." They flew toward Kepler 442b in silence. Jake spent the time going through his recovered memories. Each one was precious and painful. He remembered falling in love with Zara 7. He remembered the hope they felt when the project succeeded. He remembered the heartbreak of choosing to forget it all. "I'm sorry," he said finally. "For what?" "For forgetting you. For making you search for me for 3 years. For putting you through that pain." Zara 7 touched his hand. "You did what you thought was right. I never blamed you for that. Do you think we can stop the convergence?" "I don't know. But we have to try." The planet Kepler 442b appeared on their screens. It was a brown dead world with no atmosphere. "Perfect for hiding secrets there." Jake pointed to a small structure on the surface. "That's where we hid the research." They landed near the facility. Jake put on a breathing mask and they walked to the entrance. The building looked empty and forgotten. Inside, Jake led them through dark corridors to a hidden room. The walls were covered with computers and lab equipment, all covered in dust. "It's all here," Jake said, turning on the power. "Everything we learned about linking human and Vorthak minds. Can we use it to stop the convergence? Jake studied the data on the screens. Maybe. If we can enhance enough soldiers with these abilities, we might be able to fight back. How many would we need? Thousands. And we don't have time to train them properly. Then what do we do? Jake looked at Zara 7. We use the original enhanced soldiers. The ones from Turner Protocol, if any of them are still alive. Jake, most of them died in the years after Turner Protocol. The enhanced abilities burned out their minds. Then we use what we have. Even a few enhanced soldiers could make a difference. Suddenly, alarms started blaring throughout the facility. What's that? Zara 7 asked. Jake checked the security monitors. Ships were landing outside. Hegemony soldiers were surrounding the building. They found us, Jake said. We need to get this data out of here. How? They have us trapped. Jake smiled grimly. The same way we won at Turner Protocol. We do the impossible. He sat down at the main computer and started linking his mind with Zara 7's again. This time, he could feel the enhanced abilities flowing through him. His thoughts became faster and clearer. He could see dozens of possible futures spreading out before him. I can see how to get us out, he said. But Zara 7, if we do this, there's no going back. The enhancement will start burning out my brain immediately. How long will you have? Maybe a few days. Maybe less. Zara 7 gripped his hand tightly. Then we better make them count. Jake's enhanced mind began calculating the perfect escape plan. He could see exactly where each enemy soldier would be in the next few minutes. He knew which route would get them back to their ship safely. He even knew how to take the research data with them, but he also knew the cost. Each second of enhancement was destroying a little more of his mind. By the time this was over, he might not be Jake Morrison anymore. Still, it was worth it. The galaxy was counting on them. Jake's enhanced mind worked faster than any computer. He could see every hegemony soldier's position like pieces on a chessboard. Their movements were predictable. Their weaknesses were clear. Follow me exactly, he told Zara 7. In 30 seconds, the guard at the east entrance will turn to check his radio. We go then. They moved through the facility like ghosts. Jake knew exactly when to hide and when to run. His enhanced abilities let him see 3 seconds into the future. It was enough to avoid every patrol. They reached their ship just as the hegemony soldiers discovered the empty research lab. Jake and Zara 7 lifted off before anyone could stop them. Where to now? Zara 7 asked as they flew away from the planet. First we find the other enhanced soldiers. Then we gather every ship we can. The hegemony won't expect us to attack them directly. Attack them? Jake, they have thousands of ships. We have one. Jake's enhanced mind was already seeing the possibilities. Not if we do it right. I can see the patterns now. The hegemony is strong, but they're also predictable. They always use the same tactics. And humans don't? That's what makes us dangerous. We're the only species that changes our fighting style mid-battle. They flew to a nearby star system where Jake hoped to find some of his old team. The enhanced soldiers from Turner Protocol had scattered across the galaxy after the mission. Most people thought they were dead. Jake found the first one on a mining station called Rock Bottom. His name was Ben Torres, and he was working as a security guard. When Jake found him, Ben was sitting alone in a bar staring at an empty glass. Ben, Jake said, sitting down next to him. Ben looked up with tired eyes. Jake Morrison. I heard you were dead. Not yet, though I might be soon. Yeah, I know the feeling. The enhancements are burning out my brain too. I've got maybe 6 months left. What if I told you there was a way to make those 6 months count? Ben laughed bitterly. Let me guess. One last mission to save the galaxy? Something like that. Forget it. I'm done being a hero. It's too expensive. Jake leaned closer. The hegemony is building a weapon called the Convergence. In 4 days, they'll use it to destroy human creativity forever. We'll become slaves. So, maybe that's what we deserve. Look what our creativity got us. Enhanced soldiers who burn out and die young. It also got us the Turner Protocol. We saved 200,000 people, Ben. And how many enhanced soldiers died afterward? 12 of us went in. Only 3 are still alive. Jake was quiet for a moment. I know, I remember now. But if we don't fight, everyone dies. Not just enhanced soldiers, everyone. Ben stared at his empty glass. You really think we can win? I think we can try. And sometimes trying is enough. Ben sighed and stood up. Okay, one last mission. But if we survive this, I'm retiring to a nice quiet planet somewhere. They found the second surviving enhanced soldier on a cargo ship. Her name was Amy Foster, and she was working as a pilot. When Jake explained the situation, she agreed to help immediately. "I was wondering when someone would come for us," she said. "My enhanced abilities have been showing me glimpses of the future. It's not pretty." "How much time do you have left?" Jake asked. "Maybe 2 weeks. The enhancements are burning out faster now. Like they're trying to tell me something important." "They are. We need to use them one more time." Amy nodded. "Then let's make it count." With his small team assembled, Jake began planning their attack on the hegemony. Using his enhanced abilities, he could see exactly where their enemies would be and how they would react. The hegemony had built the convergence weapon on a massive space station called Nexus Prime. It was protected by hundreds of warships and thought to be impossible to attack. "We can't fight them ship to ship," Jake explained to his team. "But we don't need to. We just need to get inside and destroy the weapon." "How?" Ben asked. "By doing what humans do best, something completely crazy that no one expects." Jake's plan was simple and insane. They would steal a hegemony supply ship and use it to get close to Nexus Prime. Then they would pretend to be delivering supplies while actually carrying explosives. "That's suicide," Amy said. "Maybe, but it's also the only way." They captured a hegemony supply ship during a raid on a convoy. The enhanced soldiers worked together perfectly, their abilities complementing each other. Jake could see the future. Ben could predict enemy reactions, and Amy could calculate perfect flight paths. The raid was over in minutes. No hegemony soldiers even had time to send a distress signal. "Just like old times," Ben said, actually smiling for the first time. "Better," Amy added. "We're fighting for something that matters." They loaded the stolen ship with powerful explosives and headed for Nexus Prime. Jake's enhanced mind was working overtime, calculating every detail of their approach. But the strain was enormous. He could feel his brain burning with each use of his abilities. Blood started coming from his nose. "Jake, you need to rest," Zara 7 said. "Can't. If I stop using the enhancements now, I might not be able to start again. My brain is too damaged." "Then how long do you have?" "Maybe 12 hours. Enough to finish the mission." They approached Nexus Prime disguised as a routine supply delivery. The space station was enormous, bigger than most cities. Thousands of ships moved around it like insects around a hive. "Supply ship Gamma 7, you're cleared for docking bay 12, a voice said over their radio. "Confirmed," Amy replied in a disguised voice. "Beginning approach now." Jake's enhanced mind tracked every security patrol and scanner sweep. He guided them through the station's defenses like threading a needle. They docked without incident and began unloading their fake supplies. Jake could see the future well enough to avoid every security check. His team moved through the station like they belonged there. The convergence weapon was in the station's center. It looked like a giant crystal surrounded by machines. Energy flowed through it in patterns that hurt to look at. "There it is," Jake whispered. "The thing that will destroy both our species." "How do we destroy it?" Ben asked, carefully. "If we do it wrong, the explosion could take out half the star system." Jake's enhanced abilities showed him exactly where to place the explosives. The weapon's power source was unstable. A small explosion in the right place would cause a chain reaction, but they had to time it perfectly. The weapon was about to fire in 2 hours. If they destroyed it too early, the hegemony would have time to build another one. Too late and billions would die. "We wait," Jake said. 1 hour and 55 minutes. Then we blow it. They hid in a maintenance room and watched the clock count down. Jake's condition was getting worse. His enhanced abilities were burning out his brain faster now. He could barely think straight, Jake, Zara 7 said quietly. "I want you to know something. Whatever happens, I'm glad we found each other again. Even if I die in the next hour? Even then? Some things are worth the pain." Jake smiled through the agony in his head. "I love you too." When the time came, they moved to the weapon chamber. Hegemony scientists were preparing to fire the convergence. Jake placed the explosives with shaking hands while his team stood guard. 5 minutes to detonation, Jake said into his radio. Everyone get to the ship, but alarms started blaring. Their disguises had finally been discovered. "Go," Jake shouted. "I'll hold them off." "Not without you," Zara 7 said. Jake's enhanced mind showed him the future. If he stayed to fight, his team would escape. If he ran now, they would all be captured. The choice was easy. "Tell everyone that humanity never gives up," Jake said. "Even when we should." He turned to face the attacking soldiers as his team ran for their ship. His enhanced abilities made him faster and stronger than any normal human. But there were so many enemies. Jake fought like a man possessed, buying his team precious seconds to escape. He could feel his brain burning out completely now. Soon the enhancements would be gone forever. But it didn't matter. The explosives were counting down. In 3 minutes, the convergence weapon would be destroyed. Jake smiled as enemy fire finally brought him down. He had kept his promise to Zara 7. He had saved both their species. The last thing he saw was the explosion lighting up the station like a new star. Jake opened his eyes slowly. He was lying in a medical bed, but this time he remembered everything. The mission, the explosion, the feeling of his brain burning out as the enhanced abilities finally destroyed themselves. "You're awake," a familiar voice said. Jake turned his head to see Zara 7 sitting beside his bed. She looked tired but happy. "I thought I was dead," Jake said weakly. "You almost were. Your team pulled you out of that station just before it exploded. You've been unconscious for 2 weeks. Did we succeed? Is the convergence weapon destroyed?" Zara 7 smiled. "See for yourself." She helped him sit up and look out the window. They were on a space station, but this one was different. Ships from dozens of species were docked outside. Humans, Vorthax, and many others were working together. "What is this place?" "The new galactic capital. After you destroyed the convergence weapon, species all across the galaxy rebelled against the hegemony." "The war is over, Jake. We won." Jake felt amazed. "How long did it take?" 6 months. Once other species saw that the hegemony could be defeated, they joined the fight. Humanity led the alliance just like at Turner Protocol. And the hegemony? Gone. Some of their leaders surrendered. Others fled to the outer systems. But their control over the galaxy is broken forever. Jake lay back down, feeling exhausted. "What about my enhanced abilities? Are they gone?" "Yes. Dr. Park says your brain has returned to normal human levels. You'll never be able to link with me again the way we did during the project." Jake felt sad about that. The enhanced abilities had been incredible, but they had also connected him to Zara 7 in a way that normal humans and Vorthax couldn't experience. "I'm sorry," he said. "Don't be. What we had was special, but it wasn't real love. Real love doesn't need special abilities." "What do you mean?" Zara 7 took his hand. "I mean that I fell in love with Jake Morrison the man, not Jake Morrison the enhanced soldier. The abilities brought us together, but you chose to stay with me even after you forgot everything." "That's real," Jake squeezed her hand. "So what happens now?" "Now we help build a better galaxy. The Alliance needs leaders who understand both humans and other species. People like us." "People like us?" "A human and a Vorthak who prove that different species can work together. We've become symbols of the new galactic government." Jake thought about that. "I'm not sure I want to be a symbol. I just want to be a man. You can be both." "Jake, what you did changed everything. Not just the enhanced abilities, but the choice to sacrifice yourself for others. That's what made other species trust humanity. I wasn't trying to be heroic. I was just trying to save my friends. That's exactly why it worked. Other species had never seen anyone fight so hard for people they cared about. It showed them what humanity really is." Over the next few days, Jake learned more about what had happened after the Nexus Prime mission. News of his sacrifice had spread across the galaxy faster than light. Species that had feared the hegemony for centuries suddenly found the courage to fight back. The war hadn't been easy. Many people died, but humanity's reputation for never giving up had inspired others to keep fighting, even when things looked hopeless. "We didn't win because we were stronger," Commander Bell explained during a visit. "We won because we taught other species how to be strong." "What do you mean?" "Humans don't just fight for themselves. We fight for anyone who needs help. That was a new idea for most species in the galaxy." Jake looked out at the ships outside the station. "And now?" "Now we're building something that's never existed before. A galactic government based on cooperation instead of fear. Will it work? I don't know. But we're going to try." Jake spent weeks recovering and learning about the new galaxy. The Alliance had made him an admiral, though he hadn't asked for the promotion. They wanted him to help train the new galactic fleet. "We need officers who understand how different species think," the Alliance Council told him. "Your experience with the Vorthax makes you perfect for the job." "I'm not sure I'm the right person. I lost my memory once. What if it happens again? Then we'll help you remember. That's what allies do." Jake accepted the position, but only on one condition. He wanted to work with Zara 7 as his advisor. The council agreed immediately. Their first mission was to explore the outer systems where former hegemony forces might be hiding. It was dangerous work, but it felt good to be making a difference again. Jake's ship was called the New Dawn, and it carried crew members from 12 different species. Learning to work together wasn't easy, but Jake remembered something from his enhanced soldier days. Different doesn't mean wrong, he told his crew during their first mission briefing. It just means we need to understand each other better. The mission went well. They found 3 former hegemony bases and convinced them to join the alliance peacefully. Jake's reputation as the man who destroyed the convergence weapon helped, but it was his willingness to listen that made the real difference. "You're getting good at this," Zara 7 told him as they returned to base. "I had a good teacher. You showed me that differences can be strengths instead of weaknesses." We showed each other. Months passed. Jake and Zara 7 worked together to build the new galactic fleet. They trained officers from dozens of species. They explored unknown star systems. They helped settle disputes between different worlds. It wasn't always easy. Some species still didn't trust each other. Some humans thought they should rule the galaxy because they had won the war. Some aliens thought humans were too dangerous to be trusted. But slowly, things got better. Trade routes opened between species that had been enemies for centuries. Scientific research teams combined knowledge from multiple worlds. Children from different species played together on mixed colonies. "It's working," Jake said one evening as he and Zara 7 watched a group of young aliens learning to pilot ships together. "Yes, but it's fragile. One big crisis could break everything apart. Then we'll just have to make sure that doesn't happen." "How?" "The same way humanity always survives. We don't give up." Jake had been thinking about something for weeks. Finally, he got up the courage to ask. "Zara 7, I have a question. What is it? Would you marry me?" Zara 7 looked surprised. "Marry you?" "Jake, I'm not human. We're completely different species. So, we've already proven that different species can work together. Why not fall in love together too? What about children? We can't have children together. There are millions of orphans from the war. We could adopt some of them. Human children, Vorthak children, maybe others too." Zara 7 was quiet for a long time. It would be the first marriage between a human and a Vorthak. "Good. Let's make history again." People might not accept it. Some people. Others will see it as proof that the alliance can really work. Zara 7 smiled. "You know, there's something I never told you about Vorthak culture." "What?" "When 2 Vorthaks decide to bond for life, they share a special ceremony. They link minds one final time and promise to always support each other. Can we do that?" "I thought my enhanced abilities were gone." "They are. But normal humans and Vorthaks can still touch minds briefly. It won't be like before, but it will be real." "Will it hurt?" "A little. But the best things in life usually do." The wedding ceremony was small but historic. Representatives from dozens of species attended. Jake wore his dress uniform. Zara 7 wore traditional Vorthak robes that sparkled like starlight. When the time came for the mind-linking ceremony, Jake felt nervous. He hadn't used any mental abilities since the Nexus Prime mission. "Ready?" Zara 7 asked. "Ready." She placed her hands on his head just like she had done months ago when helping him recover his memories. But this time was different. Instead of trying to find the past, they were creating a future together. Jake felt Zara 7's mind touch his. It was gentle and warm, like sunlight on water. For just a moment, he could feel her emotions as clearly as his own. Love, hope, determination to build something beautiful together. When the link faded, they were officially married under both human and Vorthak law. "How do you feel?" Zara 7 asked. "Like the luckiest man in the galaxy. Even though you lost your enhanced abilities?" "Especially because of that. The abilities made me powerful, but losing them made me human again. And being human is what made you love me." "What do you mean?" "Humans aren't special because we're stronger or smarter than other species. We're special because we care about people who are different from us. That's what you fell in love with." Years passed. Jake and Zara 7 raised 6 adopted children from 4 different species. They helped build a galactic government that lasted longer than any empire in history. They proved that love could exist between any 2 people, no matter how different they seemed. Jake never regained his enhanced abilities, and he never wanted to. Being a normal human was enough. More than enough. On quiet evenings, he and Zara 7 would sit together and watch the stars. Ships from hundreds of species traveled safely between worlds that had once been enemies. "Do you ever miss it?" Zara 7 asked one night. The excitement of being enhanced? The feeling of being special? Jake thought about it. Sometimes. But then I remember that the most important things I ever did were done as a normal human. I chose to love you. I chose to sacrifice for others. I chose to believe that different species could work together. Those choices didn't need special abilities. They needed something rarer. What's that? Hope. The belief that to